Hello everyone, I'm Jay Ranger, and today we're going to be going over a bunch of the buffs, nerfs, changes, the new legend, the new gun that came to Apex Legends in Season 10. So first we're going to talk about the new legend who's really cool. I love him. This is obviously Seer. I'm sure you've already heard about him. His micro-drones allow him to track enemies, kind of like Bloodhound, but he does it in a much different and more active way. This legend is crazy strong right now. But obviously his passive, Heartseeker, you can aim down sights without being without you holding a weapon. And he's got a heartbeat sensor telling where enemies are. It lights up orange when you're close enough to one. And he can run around using this heartbeat sensor to look for your enemies. He can use it while using his gun. Now, once you think you found an enemy with heartbeat, you can unleash, bam, tactical, reveals, interrupts enemies reviving, healing, and using abilities, and it kind of flashes them for a second. So, yeah, this is a really amazing ability that just can absolutely change the course of a fight. Now, his ultimate is also really great. He pulls out that heart chamber that he uses to with his drones. He throws the exhibit, and it makes a giant dome that tracks enemies that are moving inside. Obviously, none of these enemies are moving or firing their weapons, but if they were, they would be being tracked by his ultimate exhibit. You can still use your tactical while in this. Obviously, yeah, this character is just so strong with all those amazing abilities. And it's kind of early. Season only came out 2 days ago to tell how good he's going to be in the meta, but he's looking really strong right now. Next, we're going to talk about the new gun, the Rampage LMG. This thing is insane. Yeah, the Spitfire's in the care package now, and so is the alternator, so you won't get your hands on the Rampage as much. I mean, the Spitfire as much, but this is a nice replacement. It's got that really slow but deadly fire rate. You can just kind of spray with it, but of course, then you can amp the Rampage up by popping in that thermite grenade. It's revved up. This thing just shreds. The hipfire spread isn't even that bad. This gun is so crazy. This is such a good gun. Like, it's got great long-range accuracy. You can take out like that. Like that. This is just such an amazing weapon. Next, we're going to talk about the gun that got the next most changes. The L-Star. This thing can now take barrel stabilizers and extended mags. That's crazy. This gun is just absolute beast now. The bullets are smaller. It can take those to shorten increase the time it takes for it to overheat. You can take the barrel stabilizers, obviously, stabilize the bullet pattern. The hipfire is great. The L-Star might actually be a good gun now. Like, it wasn't great in Season 8. Got a little better in Season 9 when Arenas came out. But it's pretty good now. Let's see. What else do we have to look at? Oh, the Prowler is returned. It is out of the care package. And it has got some pretty insane. It's a good gun. Like, look at that. Look at that burst. You just get, there's such low recoil on this thing. That was me without even tilting the stick down at all. Prowler's great. Now, another gun we have to look at. Here's the alternator in the package. The alternator is really good in the package because it's got those disruptor rounds from Season 2. Look at that! That just melts through opponents. The alternator is amazing. It's in the package, of course, though, so you won't get any of your hands on it as much. The Spitfire, though. The Spitfire now just shreds. It's got that damage buff, that mag size buff. You can just... And I still have 10 bullets left over because this thing is such a crazy gun. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the new legend changes. Like Diffuse. Knuckle Cluster lasts twice as long now. Look at that. It's still going. Knuckle Cluster just lasts forever now. It lasts such a long time. Actually, I'm not going to show you the changes to Fuse's ultimate, mainly because they don't actually work for some reason. It highlights enemies with optic highlighting when they're inside Fuse's ring of fire for his ultimate, but it actually doesn't work in the firing range for some reason. So I'll show you his next buff. Fuse, obviously, everyone knows he's got the Grenadier passive. You can yeet those grenades, but you can also make it so you can normally throw the grenade and launch the grenades. Yeah, so Fuse's, these changes should really help Fuse. He was not a good legend in Season 8 or 9, so these changes should really help him. Caustic was struggling because of his gas nerf in mid-Season 8. But look at this. Gas damage stacks. 7 damage, 7 damage, 8 damage, 8 damage. That gas damage stacks. It works for the ultimate buff too. It'll actually take much less time for him to get his ultimate, but won't last as long, and he got a lot of good changes. His gas traps refresh more often, so less of a cooldown. Probably the final legend we're going to be taking a look at here, and that is going to be Revenant. And Revenant, he didn't get much changes, but he got a little thing that'll help for enemies to fight against his death totem. When he is using that totem, there will be a visual and auditory indicator for enemies and teammates to see when the totem protection is about to end. And this can be really helpful for enemies because a lot of times you would have no idea when the death totem was going to end, or if you didn't know exactly when someone picked up the totem. This is helpful for them to know that the death protection is going to end soon. Pop that ultimate. There's the indicator that death totem will end. And okay, that is it for Revenant. That is basically about it that I'm going to show you this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like. If you enjoyed the channel, please subscribe, and see you next time.